Good morning, scholars. And we're going to work more on our Viking lap book. It's my little Viking ship. Notice the detail on the dragon head. That's pretty cool, huh? My shields, big bellowing sail. The tail of the ship is carved also so they can go backwards or forwards without having to maneuver and turn the ship around. They are almost symmetrical. So I'm going to put my Viking ship up there. We're going to take a look at our lap book. Here's our cover. Yours should be done. Hopefully you've got that far. Remember, I used a cereal box. Take a look at what I've done so far. I've got the Vikings are known for their shipbuilding, fighting, and sailing. Remember to go back and review these items daily. Feed your brain a little bit at a time, easier than feeding it a big bunch at one time. When I need you to do something, you'll know where that is. Down here, the Vikings are less well known for their trading. Take a look at the picture. Also looks like they might have been in Newfoundland or Vinland with this trading picture. Farming. It looks like a young lad cutting the wheat and the thatch used on the roofs or to feed and take care of the animals. And their ironwork. Pounding out the swords, the spears, made their helmets, broadaxes, hinges for their houses, shoes for their horses, whatever else they might need. And then we go up here. Who were the Vikings? Remember we talked about they don't really have horns on them, that was brought to our attention in the 1800s when they created an opera about the Vikings, and it probably did look really nice from the stage. So that's why we have horns on our Viking helmets today. And if we look inside, we're going to see, it reminds us who the Vikings were. Norsemen from the north. Scandinavia. Scandinavia we know is way up above the Mediterranean Sea, just from that map I showed you. Here's the Mediterranean Sea. You have to go across Germany and France and way up to the north where Scandinavia is. So they were known as the Northmen, the Norsemen. So that's where that came from. They had many gods and goddesses, lived in Asgard, above the earth, connected to Midgard, or the earth, by a rainbow bridge. The king was Odin, Thor, the thunder god. Days of the week, named after them. I'm going to look down here. Here's my written in stone, what we did yesterday. There's my runes. There is my name, all written in runes for you to see. Rebecca Brown. I noticed the N does not look anything like an N. It looks more like a T, and my W looks like a P, but that's what they wrote in. So we'd have to have our runes to be able to see what we wrote, or have this memorized like we have our alphabet. Now it's kind of like breaking a code. Kind of exciting. I don't know what you wrote. Needed to write your name, but maybe you went on and wrote messages to your sister or brother, or you're giving your mom a copy of it and you guys are going to write secret codes, whatever you want to do. Then here's my map of Scandinavia with my compass rose, north at the top, south, west, east. So it says we, you're correct. If it says u, it is wrong. Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark, colored in the Baltic Sea and the North Sea a little bit right here. And got my ocean colored in, and I even colored in Russia. So that's what we've done so far. So your lap book should look like mine. If you're doing it on a big poster board, then you might have put them in different places. If you're doing them in a notebook, You might have put the map on one page, turned the page and put these two things on a page together. You might have had this on a page and this on a separate page. Remember, whatever works for you. We talked about that at the beginning of making our lap book. So that started out quite a few days ago. All right, today we are going to work on this interesting shaped paper. Looks like a X if I turn it sideways. Cross, whatever you think it looks like, and that is going to be this piece in our book right here. It's going to fold up to be this little teeny tiny piece in our lap book. Vikings were also known as, and again we've got our helmet, but we know that's not, they would have had no horns, it would have looked more like that. Backs would have slid off their heads. So we're going to end up folding it. I open it up. They were known as barbarians. I flip down another page. They were known as Northmen. Open another page. Norsemen. And then I get to the end and there's nothing there. If you want to add a picture of a ship, or you could even say they were known as the Normans later, you could decorate it, draw another Viking, whatever you want to do that. And it doesn't matter which one of these is flipped down, just so long as this one is on the top. All right, so that's what we're going to make today. Got on my jewelry. I do have on my little bit of amber that I have. And remember, we talked about amber was plentiful in Scandinavia, and they would trade that for other goods that they didn't have when they went down into Russia, up the rivers, into other lands. They would take their amber either in polished or unfinished rough stone to trade. All right, let's get busy on this paper. So I'm going to put this out of my way. I'm going to need my crayons or my colored pencils to work with. You'll see the directions right here in the middle. Cut out as one unit. That means when we cut this out, we're going to cut all the way around this. We're not cutting off these little pieces. However, if you do, don't panic. You can tape them back together, or you can even take, if you don't have tape, cut a little strip of paper. A little strip of paper, glue it down. You could do one on each side and it'll act like a hinge if you do make that mistake. All right, so we're not going to panic about it. It does need to be one unit though. So then with pictures facing up and pictures facing down, the blank side up, we're going to fold them. And you're going to glue just this section to your page. But before we glue, we of course are going to color a little bit. Now maybe you want to use your colored pencils today. I'm still going to use my crayons. Markers, I tried markers and I didn't really like the effect they gave me, so I'm going to start with yellow. Scandinavians, a lot of them had gold yellow hair. We know Eric the Red had red. They were light eyes. I know you remember Mrs. Brown talking about how some of her ancestors were from Sweden. So I can pretty much say my ancestors were probably Vikings at one point. My blue eyes coming from there. So I'm going to color his beard. I'm not going to color everything, but I am going to add a little color to that helmet also. I'm going to get some gray, maybe color that gray, because they would have been made out of iron, some metal. They might have put some jewels or something along the band there. Maybe I'll make my band a little bit darker. I noticed when I was coloring these the other day that I started smelling different things like pine trees and chocolate. And I noticed that some of my crayons are magic scent crayons. Dug them out of a box that I've had left over many years, so I would start smelling all these different scents. So that was kind of exciting. Need my color. And maybe let's just do the horns too. I'll just take my black and color part of them. Maybe I'll do them kind of different. Make them multicolored. So horn might not all be the same color, so if I can find my gray, my smoke, like for instance, this would smell like smoke. Kind of cool when you're coloring. Alright, there's my Viking. I don't have to color everything. If you want to color his face and you have your peach or your tan, you know, feel free to do that. Here's my peach, so maybe I'll color him in. There you go. Alright, then I'm going to turn, got my horse. I think I'll color my horse brown. So I need to find my brown, which by the way for me is chocolate. It smells like chocolate when I use it, so I'm going to do my very best. I'm not going to color super fast. You get the idea. And I'm going to color in my horse. I'll finish this later. Maybe I'll give him a black tail and he'll be like a bay. Bay horse has black mane and tail and stockings on their legs. So I'll finish that later. I think I'll also color his helmet. The horn, maybe his tunic that he's wearing. Go on. Now, if I look at the Northmen and the Norsemen, I'm going to turn mine upside down. They're kind of dark, kind of already colored, so I might add some lighter color to him. I'm going to color his beard light. Not sure what he's got going on in his helmet. And then I think I'll just take my... Nah, I don't want to use black. Maybe I'll take my, I don't know, some green and color his tunic. Just add a little bit of color to this page because it's kind of dark. You don't have to color every little thing, the color part of it. And I don't want to see you coloring the whole thing orange, like just coloring over it. We're not in kindergarten anymore. So let's take a little bit of pride in our work. There's this crossbow, so I might take my brown or my chocolate again and just, you know, outline that. Maybe this is other part of his tool. And there, you know, I'm not going to color every little detail. Some of you like to do that, that's fine, but do add a little bit of color to it. Maybe I'll make his straps on his leggings colored. You know, it makes it pop off the page and it's more pleasing to look at. Now this guy's really dark, so I think I'm just going to color maybe his boot. Oops, got a little bit messy there. Color his boots in, maybe this horn brown, and perhaps the horns on his helmet brown also. Just add a little bit of color to make it kind of pop. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to finish my horse. But for right now I'm going to show you how we're going to cut this out. Remember, it's one piece. So I'm going to start right up here. I'm going to cut this off. If I make a mistake and cut the whole thing out, maybe I can use that as a little strap to glue it together. So stop when you get to the corners. Don't want to cut that out. I'm going to go around it. Cut it out. Cut here. I can smell that chocolate on my paper. Wish we had like smell-o-vision. You could smell it too. Cut. Be very careful to cut this out as one piece. The cut line is the outline. Okay, really important that you do that. Now, if you have a hard time cutting, you know, I hate to say ask your parents, because if you don't practice the skill of cutting, you're not going to get any better at it. It's just like if we don't practice our reading or making our letters or writing, we're not going to improve at those skills if we have someone else do them for us. So if you need to cut one section and take a break, then cut one section and take a break. Just like, you know, baseball. If you don't practice baseball, you're not going to get any better. You wouldn't have your parents come out and practice batting for you, would you? Or dancing. If you want to learn how to do a backflip, having your parents do it isn't going to help. Same thing with these kind of skills. It might be quicker for mom or dad to cut it, but you're not going to get any better if they're doing all of your work. So cut out one piece, take a break if you have to. All right, so I'm going to look at my directions. Cut out us one unit. I did that, yay. Then with pictures facing up and blank side facing down. Nope, I did that backwards again. Then with pictures facing down and blank side facing up, fold in right flap, then left flat. Fold up bottom flap and bring down top flap. So I want me to go right to left, bottom to top. All right, so I'm going to flip this over. All right, now remember, it really doesn't matter too much. The only one that has to be on the top is the title. So there's one. I'm going to rotate. It's easier for me to fold. I'm going to fold my best. And, you know, if you want mom and dad to help you a little, have them help you, but do not have them do all of your work. I'm going to peek and I'm going to say, shoot, good. That is not the title, so it's going to be the next one that comes up. Fold it up as tightly as I can. And then I'm going to fold, rotate and fold my booklet. And there is my finished booklet. Vikings were also known as barbarians. Remember, I got to go back in color. Northmen, Norsemen. And then I've got my blank. I'm going to fold it all back up. And I'm going to glue this in right now while I'm thinking about it. So I'm going to take my glue, uncap it, twirl it up, put glue on my back of this, do the corners. This isn't very big, so I'm going to try and put glue on all of it. And this is going to go right below my map. So if I have to put it up because I don't have a lot of room, I've got a lot of room, so I'm going to kind of put it in the center. I'm going to lay it right there, push it down, twirl my glue stick back down so that it's safe inside. Snap the cap. No, you heard that. And there is my piece for the day. I'm going to go back and color that. You can finish coloring yours. Remember, if you have to go back and rewind, back up on this video, you may freeze it where you need it to, and then finish up on your own time. All right, till then, go out, do great works. Farewell.